Hello students, welcome to MemoNeet. I'm Shubham. Today we'll be solving the full test 2, the FLT 2. So before just solving the paper, just before that I'm gonna tell you something. Just these tests, the full tests that are designed in our MemoNeet, these are structured in such a way that you will get the idea what kind of question that you're gonna get in the NEET 2024, right? So they're structured such a way you will get the help, you will get the full help. Okay, they're NCR fully NCRT based, and there are certain questions like for all the departments I can say. Uh, some in our physics, chemistry, and biology. In all the department, there are certain questions like biology question, and there are some graphical questions. Okay, there are some conceptual based questions, there are some correlated questions. These questions you're gonna get, this type of question you're gonna get in new 2024. I think this will help you a lot. So I think, and one thing, I think last 40 days are remaining, so this is your final push before the exam, so give it your full, and I hope that you will get succeed. Okay, so just with your full concentration give these full tests like 1 to 10 that are designed for you. So I think you will get the idea what kind of question, or you will be fully prepared for new 2024. And I hope, I pray to God that you get selected. Okay, so without wasting any time, so let's just dig into the question paper. So the first question, that is in section A, and this is divided into section A and section B. You all know that section A contains 35 questions and section B contains 36 to 15 questions. So out of this 15 questions, you have to just attend 10 questions, and in the section A you have to attend all the questions, that is 1 to 35. Okay, so without wasting any time, let's just solve the question paper. The first question is from, I think it is from laws of motion. Is it written here? A bullet is fired from a gun. The force on the bullet is there's a function of force is given 600 minus 2 into 10 to the power 5 t. Here t is the time, I think. Yes, it is in seconds. Okay, the force on the bullets becomes zero as soon as it leaves the barrel. What is the average impulse? So it is impulse. Impulse is nothing but force into time, as we all know that, or you can say force into time, or you can say change in momentum, right? This is I think you all know that. It is solved in the previous parts, part 1, part 2, part 3, part 4. There are certain questions from impulse, right? So this topic, impulse, the impulse topic is important from laws of motion. You get the idea, right? So just what you have to do, you have the function of force, right? So you have to calculate F into T. So just integrate it, force with respect to with the dt function, and the here the time should be for the limit should be from becomes zero. The force of the bullet becomes zero. Okay, so here the time, the or the whatever the time is given is 3 into 10 to the power minus 3, right? If for the force to be zero, right, for the force to be zero. So this is, if you calculate, if you just see the solution. Okay, just put the value of the lower limit as 0 and the upper limit as upper limit at t, that is already calculated here, 3 into 10 to the power minus 3 minus second. So just put it here, you will get the answer, that is the basic, by basic integration you will get the answer 0.9 newton second. Newton second is the unit of the impulse of force. Okay, now next question, another assertion reason based question, which is in the past few years, which is highly asked question. Okay, so the second question is, if the velocity and acceleration of a particle are always perpendicular to each other, then the speed decreases. Okay, velocity and acceleration of the particle always perpendicular to each other, that means this is velocity, this is acceleration. Okay, this is perpendicular, that means 90-degree angle between them is 90 degree. Kinetic energy in this case will decrease. Okay, kinetic energy is given by the formula half mv square, right? You all know that the kinetic formula is given by half mv square. Okay, now let's, what is, just if we calculate acceleration, if you calculate the velocity and acceleration. Okay, if acceleration and velocity, they are perpendicular to each other, then the that means the what is the definition of acceleration? That is change in velocity per unit time, right? That is v minus u by t, where v is the final velocity, u is the initial velocity, and t is the time duration, or the change in time, right? So here if you see, if the velocity and acceleration, they are perpendicular to each other, that means the there is no change in velocity. Okay, so there is no change in velocity means del v, or the change in velocity that you say is equals to 0, right? It is equals to 0. So therefore I think whatever it said that the perpendicular to the speed decreases, I think this is wrong, right? So if speed will not decrease, if mainly speed will not change, the thing is speed will not change, right? Okay, and the kinetic energy in this case will decrease. Kinetic energy, as there is, I think there is no, okay, as there is no change in the velocity, the kinetic energy will remain same, because it depends on the mass and the velocity of the particle. Mass cannot change, and the velocity is not changing, or it is remains constant. It remains constant. So therefore, I think it will say the kinetic energy will not decrease or will not increase. It will remain same. Okay, so that means option number 4 is correct. Both the statements and assertion, both of these are false statements, right? Okay, next is the a body dropped under gravity, that is from gravitation. The ratio of distance covered by the body in the fifth and sixth second. Okay, kinematic, you can say kinematics, or you can say gravitation, right? So here kinematics is so the given the nth second formula is given by this nth, at the nth second, or n plus 1 second, whatever you can calculate it, right? Sn equals to u into u plus a by half of a to 2n minus 1, where n is the nth second or nth time, in ninth minute, ninth second, right? Here this is given first and sixth. So there is a long process, like this is you can, by this you can do, or there is a short process, right? So here this is written as sixth. So that means, so if you put the values here, you will see that there is only change in the u, there is on the u of the particle, and a acceleration of the particle will remain constant. That means Sn will only depend on the 2n minus 1 factor, right? So just put the value in the 2n minus 1 factor here. For the first case, n is equals to 1, therefore 2n minus 1 will be equals to, it will be equals to 1, right? For the second case, it will be equals to 2 into 6 minus 12 minus 1, that means it will be equals to 11, right? So that therefore you can say that the option 1 is correct. You don't have to do this, you can do it for the surety, for the assurance, right? But there is a thing, if you just analyze the equation, you can say the initial velocity of the particle will remain same, and the acceleration of the particle will remain same. Just the displacement part, or the distance part, is depending on the 2n minus 1 factor, right? So to put the value of sixth or one, whatever it is given, fifth or sixth or seventh, or whatever it is given, you just put the value in the 2n minus 1 formula, you will get the answer, right? This is the short process, because you will not get any so much time for calculating this in the very long way, right? So just here is the shortcut, or give I told you, right? So just put that, you will get the answer. Okay, a spherical raindrop of radius r, okay, this is from the mechanical properties of fluid, are moving down in air with a terminal velocity of 2 meter per second. Terminal velocity, if it clubs with another identical airdrop, okay, two airdrops, they are connected to each other, right? Then the larger drop will have the terminal velocity. You have to calculate the velocity of the larger drop. So it is given by the formula here. This is terminal velocity is given by the formula Stokes law, right? So just put the value. That means v and radius of the particle, these two are directly proportional to each other. That means the terminal velocity is directly proportional to the square of the radius of the particle, right? Whenever you club two particles, that means the radius will change, right? So the radius will change. How the radius will change? Here, if you remember, there are a problem in the full test 1, right? And the that is it is I think explained in the same way, that if you club two particles, right, if you club two particles, right, so just here if you you have to calculate, the volume of the particle. Okay, sorry, the volume of the particle will remain same, right? If you take the radius of the ball after clubbing it together, right, and if you just and multiply the volume of the first raindrop by 2, you will get the total volume of the total volume of the second raindrop, that is clubbed together on the, and as part and the volume of the first volume of the first raindrop multiplied by 2 will be equal, right? So just if you just calculate the equation, you will get that the capital R, that is the that is our volume of, that is our radius of the particle that is been found after clubbing two spherical raindrops, right? You will get the answer that R will be equals to this 2 to the power 1 by 3 R, right? Just put the value, you'll get that this. Okay, just you will get just here, and we know that the v is proportional to r to the r square, right? Just put the value here, you will get that v dash equals to, that is the final, that is the velocity of the final the terminal velocity of the final spherical raindrop is will be equal to 2 to the power 5 by 3 meter per second. That is option number 4. Okay, now moving on to the next question. There is an static electric field. Okay, electric field, that is from electrostatics, right? In the x direction, this is x direction. If the work done moving in a charge of q is given, the value of q is 0.4 coulomb through the distance of 2 meter, that is r is also given, making an angle 60 degree with the x-axis is 12 joule. The work done is 12 joule, right? The work done is 12 joule. Okay, the work done is 12 joule. Okay, and if you know the this is the force, the formula related the relation between force and the coulomb force and the electric field, you will get this F equals to QE, where E is the electric field and Q is the charge and F is the force acting on the charge, right? And if you have to if certain amount of work is done, right, so the formula is given is F dot S, right? The dot product of force and displacement gives out the work done. So just F dot S means Fs cos theta. Here theta is 60 degree, that means cos theta will be equals to half, right? Cos theta will be equals to half, and displacement is already given 2 meter, right? And F means Q into E, just Q. So put the value of Q is here, and the electric field will be electric field. You have to calculate it. So you have to calculate the electric field, and the W is also already given. So put the value, you'll get that. This is a straightforward question, and you get the value of E, that is 30 Newton per coulomb. Okay, question number 6. Two metallic spheres of radius 1 centimeter and 3 centimeter are given with charge this and this, which are given charge of this one is a, I think, negative charge, and another positive charge. That means we can say that the attraction force will be there, not repulsion, attraction. If these are connected by conducting wire, then the final charge of the small sphere will be. Just take some you have to, after if you just analyze the equation. Okay, so if two charges are connected to each other, right, if two charges are connected to each other, that means there is certain amount of flow of charge from one sphere to another sphere, right? So that means if there is less charge present in one sphere, that means the charge is flowing from that sphere to the another sphere which is having less charge, right? So let that charge be small q. Q1 and Q2 is the Q1 is this is Q1 and this is Q2, right? So Q amount of charge is flowing from one charge to another charge, right? So just put the value in this equation. Okay, one is getting charge, another one is eliminating certain amount of charge. The amount of charge eliminated by a certain sphere will be equal to the amount of charge added to the certain sphere or another sphere, right? Just put the value in the equation, you will get it. You will get the value of Q1 minus Q, that is the charge. The Q will be, that is the charge that is dissipating or the eliminating from one sphere, the sphere with more charge. So therefore the change in charge, the final, the small sphere, that is this one, small sphere, the amount of charge remaining in this will be this, right? So this will be the final. Initially this was the charge was this. Now finally the q1 minus q will get, you will get 1 10 to the power minus 2 coulomb. Okay, that means option number 4 is correct. Ratio of the magnetic fields and the center of the current carrying the coil of radius at distance 3 around its axis. Okay, I think this is already done in FLT. There is a certain type, this type of question was there, and the formula is, I already told you, at the center the formula will be mu naught ni by 2r, where n is the number of turns. Here the no number of turn is mentioned, so that means you have to take 1, right? And if certain, if the angle is given, certain amount of angle is given, that means you have to, the formula will be equals to mu naught ni by 2r into theta by 2 pi, where theta is the angle made with the center. Okay, now but here you have to calculate the magnetic field at a certain distance from the center. Okay, so given by the formula is given, mu naught ni by 2 or mu naught ni by mu naught I r square by 2. Here you have to put the value here, x square plus r square, where x is the distance from the center and r is the radius, to the power 3 by 2, right? All the description of the how this formula is, how we got the formula, I think it is already mentioned in the notes, right? And if you just follow the notes, you will get the how this formula is here, right? So x will be equals to, here x is given as 3r, right? The distance from the center. So just put the value here, you will get, sorry for, okay, now this is the, now this is the amount of charge that you got, and this is the amount of charge, amount of magnetic field you got at the center. This is the amount of magnetic field you got at the distance 3r from the center, right? Just if you just if you just have the ratio, just divide these two, this one equation 1 and equation 2, you will get that the ratio will be 10 root 2, 10 root 10, right? So that means option number 1 is correct. Okay, question number 8. Consider a statement regarding electromagnetic EM wave. Okay, the speed of the electromagnetic wave is in the vacuum is related to mu naught and epsilon naught. C is equals to 1 by root over mu naught epsilon naught. That is correct. The formula of C is equals to 1 by root over of mu naught epsilon naught, or you can say E by B, that is the electric field by magnetic field, or E naught by B naught, that is the electric field at the vacuum divided by the electric field, magnetic field at the vacuum, is equals to C, and C is equals to 1 by root over mu naught epsilon naught. Okay, okay, the speed of the electromagnetic wave in the material in medium is given mu naught and epsilon naught. V equals to 1 by root over mu naught mu epsilon, that is also correct. Okay, electromagnetic waves carry energy as they travel through the space, this is also correct, right? It has to carry energy, because the formula, that is the relativity, E equals to mc square. According to that formula, it has to carry certain amount of energy. Or the another formula, that is UE, that is the energy of the electromagnetic wave, that is given by half of B naught square epsilon, right? Or E naught square epsilon, that is also another formula. But electromagnetic wave do not carry momentum, right? So I think this option will be this is the incorrect one, because if you know that energy and momentum, they are connected to each other, right? They have a relation, P square equals to 2me, right? Or E equals to P square by 2m, where E is the kinetic energy and P is our momentum, right? So that means they have a relation. That means if an electromagnetic wave carries certain amount of energy, it will have certain amount of momentum. So that means it is said that they do not carry any amount of momentum. That means, okay. Now moving on to the next question, that is from electrostatics also. I think this question number 9 is already been in this question, that is question number 5. So sorry from our side, right? So it will not happen in the near future, I think. Okay, so right, I think the answer was 30 Newton Coulomb, right? Answer was question number 5. It is repeated wrong. Okay, I think so. Pardon us for that. We will make sure that this doesn't happen in the near future. Okay. A certain charge q is divided into two parts, q1 and q2, and then these 2 point charges are placed at a certain distance apart. Q1 and Q2, Q capital Q charge is divided into two parts, right? So the first part, the first part is Q1 and second part is Q2, right? Then these 2 point charges are placed at a certain distance apart. The ratio of Q1 and Q2 for which the electron force between them will be maximum. Ratio. You have to calculate the ratio, right? Let's look at the explanation. If these two charges are divided into two parts, right, q1 and q2 equals to, and if you know from the Coulomb's law that the value of F depends on two things, right? The value of charges, that is directly proportional to the product of the charges, and it is inversely proportional to the square of the distance between them. Here it is said that they are placed at a certain distance, right? So that means the distance is constant here. So the total force, the maximum force will depend only on the value of charges, right? So if you say, if let us say if the value of charge in these two cases are equal, that means q1 equals to q2. That means the our force will be equals to q1 square or q2 square, whatever you say, right? So that means it will not be the maximum one. But if we if the if q1 equals to q2, it will be maximum, hence the force will be maximum, right? So that means if the ratio if the ratio of these two, q1 and q2, right, if q1 and q2, that means if q1 equals to q2, if that I think they are divided into two parts, then these two parts are equal to each other. Okay, so that means the value of f max or the value of f will be equals to q square, small q square, small q1 square, small q2 square, right? If I think one is greater than the other one, right? So therefore the multiplication of these two will not be greater than the, if we multiply just q1 and q2. So therefore I think both the cases this will be equal to each other, right? So therefore I think option, I think answer 1, answer will be q, as these two are equal, that means the answer will be, ratio will be 1. Okay, if the density of the gold nucleus is x, then the density of the silver nucleus, this is a classic question, right? So from nuclei, as there is the difference, gold, if you remember, gold and silver, like in the metallic reactivity series they are in the bottom, right? So the only difference between them is the atomic number on the mass number, right? So let's talk about the mass number. The density of the nucleus doesn't depend on the mass number. So if there is a change in the mass number, so there will not be any change in the density, because density doesn't depend on the mass number. So I think if gold nucleus, the density of the gold nucleus is x, so therefore in the silver nucleus it is also will remain same. The answer will be x only, right? Because it will not change, it will remain same. Okay, moving on to the next one, like 12. An electron accelerated through a potential difference of v enters into a uniform transverse magnetic field and experiences a force F. If the accelerating potential is 2v, then the electron of the same magnetic field will experience a force. I think you all know that there is a relation between force and the amount of, and the force and the potential difference that is applied, so that the electron gains certain amount of velocity, right? The formula of force, right? The formula of force whenever certain amount of voltage is applied, right, is force, a certain amount of force is applied on, so that the charge gets certain velocity. It is given by the formula F equals to QVB, right, where Q is the charge, V is the velocity of the electron, and B is the magnetic field. And if certain amount of charge is moving through a certain magnetic field, right, so it will have certain amount of kinetic energy. That means the amount of force, here you can see, right, here you can see that this is the kinetic energy, and this is the amount of uh, energy that is the certain amount of voltage, whenever certain amount of voltage is applied on the certain magnetic field or electric field, you will get this is also equal to the our kinetic energy. So you will get this, if capital V, that is the potential difference, here small v is the velocity, right, the capital V will be equals to, you will get capital V equals to small v, or capital V, small, here small v value is already calculated, small v equals to root over 2e v into m into v, whatever. That means the relation between small v and capital V is directly proportional, they are directly proportional to each other, but to the root over of the potential difference, right, so root over of the potential difference is there. So therefore if the potential difference is twice, that means the velocity will also increase, right, but how? It will be increased by, not by, it will not be doubled, as the potential difference is doubled, but it will not be doubled, but it will be root over of the 2, it will be root over 2 times, right, it will be root over 2 times, right, it will be root over 2 times, right. So that means 1.414, if you remember the value of root over 2, it is 1.414, that means 1.4 times, right. Okay, moving on to the next question, that is, when a current I, when current I is set up in a wire of radius r, the dip velocity, that is from the current electricity chapter, I think, right, the current electricity, that is the formula is given by I equals to NEA VD, or how I remember it, right, if you have to calculate, this is a funnier way you have to you can remember. There is a brand name Nivea, right, so just if you just arrange this all the letters, you will get that, right, you will get the I here, N here, E here, A here, V here, so you will get it, right. So when I used to study, so I remembered it that way. So therefore just put, just if you just see the formula here, I will be equals to NEA VD, right. So V is the, here VD is the drip velocity of, as you all know, and A is the A is our cross sectional area, right. So that means here it is said that whenever I is set up in a wire, the dip velocity of radius r, the dip velocity is VD. If the same current is set up through a wire of radius 2r, same metal, dip velocity will be. You have to calculate, there is a change in the dip velocity. The relation, first of all, see whatever you have to identify in the question, what are the 2 or 3 or the 4, whatever, what are the change variables that are given. The constant part, here the current is constant, so we don't have to take it into account, right. So the main part, which is I think the variable parts are radius, that means the our area, cross sectional area A pi r square, and our drip velocity. So if you just analyze the equation here, you will get that the ratio between A and VD is inversely proportional, and pi A is equals to pi r square, that means VD will be directly proportional to, oh sorry, inversely, oh sorry, VD will be inversely proportional to 1 by r square, that is the radius, right. So that means if VD, here the radius is twice, okay, the radius is double, that means the VD will be lesser, as the in case of inversely proportional relationship between two I think two physical quantities, if one is if we increase something, the other one will decrease, right. Here the radius is doubled, that means the velocity will decrease by how much? Because it is I think the v is inversely proportional to the square of the radius, so that means it will be reduced square of 2, it is twice, right. so it is double, the radius is doubled, so that means the velocity will be decreased by how much? The square of the how much it is been, the radius is increased, that means 2 square, means answer will be 2 square means 4, that means the answer here, answer will be equals to this, right? Okay. Okay, so therefore I think the answer is, it is wrongly written. I think the answer will be here will be 4, I think. Sorry, here the answer is it will be vd by 4, not vd by 2. It is vd, it will be vd by 4 only, right? So this is a wrong answer is given. So answer, option number 4 will be there. Option number 4 will be the answer, right? Option number 4, remember it, here the calculation is also done wrong, I think. It will be 4, I think. Vd by 4, as I already explained to you why it will be 4. You can calculate, I already told you in the, I think the previous one question, that there are certain processes you can just minimize the time, right? How? Just identify the physical quantities which are variable. The constant parts are not variable, so you don't have to take it into account, right? So already in the question it is told that the current is constant, right? So therefore the change, only change in it, in the potential, in our drip velocity and the radius. So that radius means the cross sectional area. So how you have to identify how these two are connected to each other, or how they are related to each other. By this equation you can say that the vd is inversely proportional to the cross sectional area. That means cross sectional area is equals to pi r square. That means the potential difference, sorry, the drip velocity is inversely proportional to the square of the radius, right? So just square of the radius, just keep it in your mind that square of the radius means here it is twice, that means it is inversely proportional. It is twice, that means it will be half, but the relation is squared, right? So therefore you have to just square the multiplication factor, that is 2. You just square it, you will get 2 square, that is equals to 4, right? This is the shortest way you can achieve it. So you have to just minimize time consumption in this kind of numericals, right? Because this is a straightforward numerical, this kind of thing. Okay, in the second say in a hydrogen spectrum, question number 14, the shortest wavelength of the Balmer series. Balmer series, you know the equation for the Balmer series, that is equals to lambda equals to r into 1 by 2 square minus 1 by n square. It is already been, is already in your notes, I think. And in the FLT one, it is there is also a question related to the Balmer series, right? So here the value of n starts from 3, right? Remember it, in the Balmer series the value of n starts from 3, not from 2 or not from 4. It starts from 3, 4, 5, and it's going, okay, up to nth, right? The here it has been asked that the shortest length in the bracket series. Okay, in the bracket series it is the n starts from 5. Okay, the series, if you just arrange it, you will get this Lyman, then Brahmer, right? Okay, Lyman, then Brahmer, then Passion, then bracket. Okay, so here in the case of bracket, the formula is capital R lambda 1 by lambda equals to capital R, sorry, capital R, that is the Rydberg's constant, and in bracket is 1 by 4 square minus 1 by n square, where the n starts from 5. In case of Balmer series, the n starts from 3, right? For the shortest case, just remember it, you put the value infinite in the place of n, so we get the value of the wavelength, shortest wavelength, right? So if you just analyze it, if you just calculate it here in the Balmer series, it will be r by 4, it is r by 16. So just have the ratio of these two, you will get this is 4 is 16 is 4 times that of 4, right? So you will get the in the that in the bracket series, the shortest wavelength is 4 times that of the Balmer series, right? Okay, question number 15. In a LCR circuit, okay, from AC, this is a direct question. Okay. Resistance is given 10 ohm, impedance, that is Z in a LCR circuit, Z means root over of R square plus RL minus RC square. So no one told you life was gonna RL minus RC square, right? So you have to calculate the phase difference between current and voltage. In a LCR circuit, you know that there is a phase difference between current and voltage, right? In the LC circuit, okay, in the CR, in the CR circuit, the voltage is lagging from the current is lagging from voltage. In the LR circuit, the it is the other way around, right? So you have to calculate the theta, the phi, whatever you say, the phase difference between voltage and current, right? So how you calculate it? You just uh, in the power factor formula, the power factor is given by cos phi, that is it is given by r by resistance by impedance, right? So r is given already, and I told you the formula of z, that is equals to root over of r square plus xl minus xc square, where xl and xc is xl and xc is our impedance for LC circuit, and xc is for the CR circuit, right? So just put the value, and here already you don't have to know the formula. Z is already given. That means r will cos phi equals to 10 by 20, that means half, that means phi will be equals to 60 degree. That means option number 3 is correct. Okay, now moving on to the next question. Question number 16. A resistance of 40 ohm and inductance, that means L, is given. 95.5 millihenry are connected with series 50 cycles per second. That means hard, that 5 cycles per second, it is, you can say it is hertz also. It is the frequency that is given. In a AC source, the peak voltage is 200 volt. Peak voltage V naught is given. What is the peak value of the current? You have to calculate the peak value of the current, right? So how you will calculate it? Right, this is how you can calculate it. Class question 16. R is given, R is given, L is given. This is the N, the our frequency. This is a hertz only. This is a capital V, that is the V naught, that is the our voltage, the peak voltage of the AC source, right? So XL, the formula of XL is 2 pi NL, right? Where N is our frequency, L is our inductance. Just put the value, you will get the value, and R is given. You will put the value, you will get the value of our XL, right? And the value of Z is given by the formula root over already for the, this is for the LR circuit. The value is root over of R square plus XL square. But in case of LCR, it is R square plus XL minus XC whole square. In case of our CR circuit, it is R square plus XC square, right? So just remember these formulas. Just put, in case of just remember the formula for the LCR circuit. You will not have to remember it. In the LCR circuit, the formula is R square plus, in bracket, XL minus XC whole square. And for the LR circuit, the XC is 0. That means it will become R square plus XL square. And for the CR circuit, it will become the XL will become 0. So therefore, just put modify the equations, will get, right? So you don't have to remember all the equations, right? So just put the value here in the given equation. You will get that Z is equals to this, and I naught will be equals to V naught by Z. Just put the value, and you will get the I naught will be equals to 4 ampere. Okay, question number 17. The angular speed of the motor wheel is increased from 22 rps to 52 rps in 16 seconds. Here omega 2 and omega 1 is given, right? And I think time is given, that you can calculate the alpha, that is the that is our I think that is our angular acceleration, right? What you will get, 52 minus 20 means 32, 32 minus 6, alpha will be equals to 2, right? Okay, how many revolutions does the engine make during this time? Calculate you have to calculate the number of revolutions, right? So how to calculate the number of the revolutions? Yeah, I think all the things are given. Okay, so just put the value here, that is our omega 2 square minus omega 1 square equals to 2 alpha theta, or my case I remember it in the what is in the kinematics, that is v squared equals to u squared plus 2as, right? So the in the place of v put omega 2, in the place of u omega 1, and the place of a put alpha, in the place of s put theta, right? You have to calculate the number of revolutions, right? You have to calculate the number of alpha is already, I told you, alpha is already, I calculated 52 minus 20 by 16, it will be equals to 2, right? Just put the value in the equation of alpha and omega 2 and omega 1, and you will get the theta, right? That if just already, if you just solve the equation, you will get the value of theta will be equals to 576. That is the number of revolution, that is already, or the displacement, the angular displacement, that is the number of revolutions, right? Okay, the next question, in the photoelectric function, the work function w naught is given 4.1 for the threshold wavelength. Okay, it is a direct question. If the work function is directly related to the threshold wavelength or the threshold frequency, in the first FLT it was there, I think w naught is equals to w naught is equals to h nu naught, where nu is the threshold frequency, that means h c into lambda naught, that is our lambda naught is our threshold wavelength, right? So just put the value in the equation. Lambda naught will be equals to hc by w naught. H from the h is the Planck's constant, c is the our speed of light in vacuum, and w naught is 4.14 electron volt. Or there is another formula, that is direct formula, that is 12,400. Okay, by that you can also calculate. This is hc, the value of hc is 12.4 to 10 to the power minus 7, and w naught is 4.14. This is in ev only. This formula can only be used when the work function is given in ev. Okay, but if it is in joule, you cannot use this formula. You have to put all the values that I already told you, the value of h, the value of c 6.62, value of h, and the in case of c the value will be 3 to the power 8, right? Just put the value, you will get it. But in if the work function is given in ev, you can directly put it here. Put the value of hc is got 12.4 to 10 to the power minus 7, right? Okay, moving on to the next question. Question number 90, the frequency of light in a photoelectric experiment is double. The stopping potential will be, a frequency is doubled. Okay, the stopping potential, I think here in the equation, Einstein's equation, you will get the idea that ev naught, or I think the formula is already, I told you, that h nu, that is the energy of the that is the energy of our photon particles, right? Equals to, I think the w naught plus our Emax, right? Okay, here a nu is our frequency. Okay, if here it is in the question, it is said the frequency is double, that means nu dash becomes 2 nu, right? So just put the value, you will get it, right? So from the equation 2, equation 1 and equation 2, we can say v naught dash equals to 2 v naught plus phi by e. Phi is the work function here, or w naught you can say, by e, right? So you can say that v naught dash, or the stopping potential in the second case, is twice that of v naught, but there is another factor, that is work function, that is there is a graph also there. I think you know that this is the slope of the graph, w naught by e, there is a slope of the graph, right? So that means you can say the potential difference will be twice, but it will be greater than the twice of the initial potential difference, because there is this factor, this is the slope of the work function sorry, the Emax versus our work function graph, right? This is the slope of that graph. Okay, now next question number 20, intrinsic semiconductor. I think intrinsic semiconductor, you all know that, I think this is silicon, right? Intrinsic semiconductor, that is our okay, yeah, intrinsic semiconductor is silicon, I think. And an n type of semiconductor, how you can get n type of semiconductor and p type of semiconductor? By doping with trivalent and pentavalent elements, you will get n type and p type semiconductor. N type means trivalent, p type means our pentavalent, right? So here pentavalent, you know, the element, pentavalent element is phosphorus 285, right? That is pentavalent. Okay, and your B is N type of semiconductor. Okay, so B is N type of semiconductor. That means pentavalent here is, it will be this phosphorus. And P type of semiconductor is by I think prepared by adding indium, that is a trivalent. Okay, and the depletion, what is depletion here? Depletion here, which is equals to, for the semiconductor, it is equals to or lesser, it is lesser than 3.5 electron volt, that is equals to 1 micron. That is the size of the depletion layer is 1 micron. Okay, now moving on to the next question, question number 21. A carbon, silicon and germanium atoms have 4 valence electrons each. Their valence and conduction bands are separated by energy and energy band gaps. This is this. Okay, which one of the following relation is true? Okay, so you have to calculate, you have to show or you have to identify which one has the greater band gap. Okay, so in case of the, see, the in the carbon the band gap is this and silicon is this. But understand one thing, carbon, silicon and germanium, out of these three, silicon and germanium, they are semiconductors, but carbon is directly, carbon is a our carbon is a insulator kind of thing, right? So therefore the band gap for carbon will be greater than that of 3.5 electron volt, right? So the carbon band gap for carbon will be higher compared to silicon and germanium, because it has lesser than 3.5, right? So that means the value of band gap for carbon will be greater than that of silicon and germanium. And in case of silicon and germanium, silicon has the lowest band gap, right? So therefore the value of carbon will be the energy gap for carbon will be greater than that of silicon. So therefore I think option, sorry. Okay, moving on to the next question, number 22. Question number 22 says it is the, I think this is our question from, I think, KVL, right? Kirchhoff's current law, KCL, sorry, KVL, not KCL. Junction, you have to, what is KCL? The total input and output current for a certain point in our circuit will be equals to 0. That means if two currents that are in the two input currents are there in a point, that is I1 and I2, and the two output currents I3 and I4, that means I1 plus I2 will be equals to I3 plus I4. That is our KCL, right? So just here the direction is given already, I think. Yeah, the direction is already given. Just put the value in the formula that I already told you, right? So you'll get the answer, right? As simple as that. Okay, but you have to, I think you have to calculate, you have to put the in the KVL also, that is equals to summation of E equals to summation of IR. Summation of E means summation of all the voltages, that is here given, I think 10 volt and 5 volt, equals to summation of I into R. Here I think one I is there here, right? You have to calculate the value of I1. Okay, right, just put the value here in the KVL formula, you will get the answer. Okay, now moving on to the next question. In a convex lens, the focal length is 40 centimeter, and a concave lens focal length is 30. Okay, they are separated by a gap of 20 centimeter. This kind of problem is already solved in the FLT 1, I think, right? I think this is why you have to calculate it by this formula. Okay, in the first of all, just if the object is placed 20 centimeter in front of the first lens and 1 centimeter height, H is given, U is given, the height of the image. There are two lenses, right? They are kept at a certain distance. One is convex, another is concave. The first lens is the convex lens, right? So in case of convex lens, for the sign in the, if we according to the sign convention, okay, according to the sign convention, the F is negative, right? F is negative, and the U, I think the U, okay, no, sorry, the V is V is negative also, right? The F is positive and V is negative, I think, and V is negative and U is also negative. That is for the convex lens, right? So put the value of F and the value of u, right? You will get the image distance, right? V. Okay, so for the calculation of the height of the height of the object is given. For the calculation of the image height, you have to calculate the linear magnification, that is m equals to h dash by h, or I by o, or v by u, whatever. Yeah. So therefore I think m1 will be equals to, for the convex lens the magnification is 2, right? Now for the object will be further magnified by the concave lens, right? So here you have to calculate also the v, right? So calculate the v, and if there are two lenses are given, the net magnification is given by the formula multiplication of two magnification, that is m1 into m2. Okay, so that put the value, you will get the value of I, that is, or some, it is in this case it is written as h1, that is the height of the object, and h0 is the height of the, sorry, height of the image h1, and h is the height of the object, right? So just put the value and you will get the value of h1 equals to 2 by 3 centimeters. Okay, question number 24. A straight string is 0.25 meter long. 0.25 meter long, has a fundamental frequency of 8000 hertz. The velocity of the transverse wave in the string is, okay. Question number 24, right? Fundamental frequency is given by the formula L equals to lambda by 2, where L is given as 0.25. Yeah, 0.8, the length of the string is 0.25, and the fundamental frequency is 800. Okay, and frequency, you know that n equals to 1 by t, that is a t equal time period, right? The velocity of the, we have to calculate the velocity, right? Lambda equals to, we all know that lambda, the wavelength, equals to v into t, right? Velocity into time period. The velocity will be equals to, here the v is, I think lambda is equals to 0.5, right? Lambda equals to 0.5. The put the value of lambda here in this equation, you will get the value of t, you will get the value of v, that is 0.5 into 800, that is equal to 400 meter per second. Okay, ray optics. Question number 25. The light waves enter from medium 1 to medium 2. Its velocity in medium 2 is double that to that medium 1. For total internal reflection, the angle of incidence. For total internal reflection, right? So you know the total two criterias, right? You know the two criterias for total internal reflection. That is, first of all, the angle of incidence should be such a way, right? So angle of incidence should be greater than such a way, or it should be such that the angle, the incident angle is greater than that of the critical angle. Theta will be equals to, or I, that is the incident angle, will be equals to, be greater than IC, that is the critical angle. It is different from different medium, right? So that is the first our criteria for the total internal reflection. For total internal reflection, the angle of incidence in first medium be greater than, I have to calculate the total, calculate the value of, we have to calculate the value of the angle of incidence, right? Which is, I already told you, the it will be greater than the our will be greater than our critical angle, right? So here in this case, this is the total internal reflection is one kind of refraction, so it obeys the Snell's law, that is equals to sin I by sin r equals to mu1 by mu2, right? So or the modified form looks like this, right? So just put the value here, you will get the value of sin theta c equals to 30 degree, right? Okay, the time period of a satellite in the orbit r is t. The time period for another satellite's orbit r equals to 9r. Okay, now Kepler's law, I think you all know that in the Kepler's law there is a relation between time period and radius, that is equals to t square proportional to r cube. T square is proportional to r cube, right? So that means t is proportional to r to the power 3 by 2. As the r, you also, you can see that r is ninth, r is I think it is, sorry, it is 9 times. That means the answer will be 9 to the power 3 by 2 times. That means time period will be 9 to the power 3 by 2 times. That means 9 to the power 3 means 729, and 729 to the power half means root over of 729, that is equals to 27. The answer will be 27. You can answer the question, this type of question like this, right? This, I already told you this. Understand what are the factors that are responsible for it, right? In the question there will be certain parts that are constant, there are certain parts that will be variable. You understand, first you have to identify the variable parts, understand the variable parts and their relationship between them, and you can just you can, I think, minimize the time of solving those numericals. Okay, in a young YDAC, in a young double slit experiment, the frequency, I think, nu is given. The distance between the centers of adjacent bright fringes is 1 millimeter. Y is given. If the screen is 2 millimeter away from the slits, capital D is given. Then find the distance between the slits. You have to calculate the small d or 2d. That is the direct formula. Okay, that is a direct formula, I think. Alright. Okay, so first I have to calculate the lambda, right? First to calculate the lambda, v is, you know, the speed of light, that is 10 to the power, and f is given. I have to calculate the lambda. Okay, so by if after calculating the lambda, you will put the value that the beta equals to lambda d by small d. Put the value here, you will get the answer, that is small d or 2d. Sometimes I say 2d, because from the central fringe, the fringe looks like this. From the central fringe, these 2 points are there, right? These are the coherent sources. F2, the distance between them is 2d, or from the center it is small d, right? So some cases I say 2d. Okay, now moving on to the next question, that is question number 28. A wire is suspended from a ceiling stretched under action of weight F suspended from its another end. The force exerted by the ceiling on its equal and opposite to the weight. Okay, this is a classic or mechanical properties of solid equation, right? So stress on the object, or a certain object, is equals to force per unit area, right? So therefore I think, as there are two and there are two type of force stresses are the tensile and tensile stress and tensile stress. I think tensile stress is there, but because you are stretching the wire, right? So that means tensile stress would generate in the wire. So therefore, as I told you, the formula of stress is force by cross-sectional area. That means the answer will be this one. Question is option number 1. Okay. Now next question: the potential energy of a particle varies with a distance of x from the fixed origin v. Okay. From here, a and b are constant. Dimensions of a, b are. Okay, here this is potential energy. A is equals to root over x by x, yeah, and plus b. So during the dimensional analysis, right, know one thing, that the dimension of the left hand side and the dimension of the right hand side, these two are equal to each other. Right? And also, if two physical quantities are added or subtracted from each other, that means their dimensions also are equal or same. You can say equal, not same, right? So that means the dimension of b and dimension of this is equal, same, and dimension of v means the dimension of, that is the potential energy, and the dimension of b is also same. That means the dimension of b is equals to the dimension of energy or the dimension of work done, that is equals to ml to t minus 2, right? So the b dimension of b is, you got it right, ml to t minus 2, and the dimension of x will be equals to, right? So a dimension of x will be equals to b, right? So if you just calculate it, you will get the dimension of a will be equals to l to the power 3 by 2. So just multiply a and b, the dimension of a and b, you will get the dimension of a b equals to l to the power 7 by 2 t minus 2. If the projectile is thrown at such a that the range is 4 times that of the height attended the angular projection is, okay, r is 4 times, r equals to 4h. In the first, I think, sorry, part 1 test, I think there was a problem, right? There was a question from this part. There, I think you remember it, the formula of r is equals to u square sine 2 theta by g, and the formula of h is equals to u square sine square theta by 2g, right? So just here you have to say that r is equals to 4h. So put the value, put the formula in place of r. you put the value u squared sine 2 theta by g, and in the case of h you put the value I square sine square theta by 2g. So put the value here in the equation, you will get that theta equals to 45 degree, right? In the position time graph, okay, the particle of mass 2 kg is shown in the figure. The total work done, you have to calculate the total work done, 0 to 4 second, right? Aim is given, right? For the work done, you have to, the formula for work done is F into S, force into displacement, right? Here mass is given and time is also given. Okay, so now here for the t equals, from t is equals to 0 second and t equals to 2 to 4 second, there to calculate in two parts, right? So how you can calculate it? So in the given equation, the velocity of the particle in the first part is this x2 minus x1 t2 minus t1. The second part is you have to calculate in that way only, right? By the same formula here. In the second part, the t2 will become 4 and t1 will become 2. In the first part, the t2 was 2 and the second part was 0, right? Right. So here these two are there, right? This one and this one. So therefore you will get the value of d, you calculate the value of v in both the cases from 0 to 2 and 0 to 4. That means you can calculate the deviation, or there is the difference between velocities, that is the dv, right? So you get the value of dv by dt is equals to a, we all know that is acceleration, and m into a is equals to force. So you got the force, right? So you got the force as the you will get that the acceleration, you will get the acceleration is 0. So therefore I think force will be equals to 0, right? Key ক্লাস করা ছিল অনলাইন। ও আচ্ছা আচ্ছা সরি সরি ডিস্টার্ব করলাম তো। হ্যাঁ ঠিক আছে, একটু পরে আসো না। পরে আসতে পারবো না আজকে, তুমি অনলাইন করে দেবে? হ্যাঁ অনলাইন করে দেবো, ঠিক আছে। আমি এখনই যাবো, তোমাকে একটা নাম্বার থেকে 70 সামথিং দিয়ে এটা কিছু 704, ওকে আমি তোমাকে ফোন করে নিয়ে পরে করে দেবো, ঠিক আছে। Okay, moving on to the next question, that is question from 32. So here in this last question, the acceleration was 0, that means force will be equals to mass into acceleration. As the acceleration was 0, that means force will be equals to 0, and force is 0, so therefore work done is also 0, right? It doesn't, the force work done will be 0, right? Second question number 32, a solid mass of 2 kg is heated and del H, that the heat given and change in temperature theta is plotted. Okay, the here angle is 45 degree. Okay, del theta is the change in the temperature. Okay, specific heat is given. We all know that capital H equals to, or the del H equals to mst, but S is our specific heat. That means the formula of S will be equals to H by m theta, m del theta, right? Here I think the formula is given here, ms h equal h s is equals to h by mt, right? So therefore here I think the formula is in the h by m, that is the slope, that is equals to 45 degree, that is equals to 1045, that is equals to 1, and m is here is 2 kg, so that means 1 by 2, right? So s will be equals to 1 by 2, that is 0.5. That's therefore option number 2 is correct. Okay, question number 33, a logic gate question, right? So for the past 3 or 4 years you can analyze the paper, that there is always a question from logic gate, right? So here I think question number 33, you all know this is the what will be the answer 33, right? It is AND gate, it is an AND gate. How it is an AND gate, right? So here the A and B are the inputs, and Y is the, so here is the another one output is P, another output here is Y, right? So P will be equals to, for the AND gate, for the NAND gate, sorry, no, sorry, this is not an AND gate, an AND gate. So like, so it will be equals to P A into A dot B bar of A dot B, right? The conjugate of A dot B, right? And the second is also, it is also an AND gate, right? So here you will also get, so here in this case of, it will be equals to conjugate of A dot B, conjugate of A dot B. So therefore I think you will get A dot B. That means it is equals to, it is a formula of AND gate, right? It is our truth table of AND gate. So therefore I think you will get the answer is, the answer for the 33 question number 33 is as AND gate. A piece of wood is floating in a water kept in a bottle. The bottle is connected to an air pump. Now neglect the compressibility of the water. When more air is pushed into the bottle from the pump, the piece of wood will float. Okay. Largest part in the water. Okay. This is also one of the mechanical properties of fluid. Okay. When the air is pushed into the water from the bottle of the pump, the pressure in the air increases. Right. As there is certain amount of air is inserted into the bottle, the pressure increases. Okay. So pressure and the surface area, they are inversely proportional to each other. You all know that P is equals to F by A, right? So the level of water in the wood does not change. The piece of wood floats in the same part of the water, right? So as our the piece of wood is floating in the water, and first it is said the bottle is connected to air pump. Neglect the compressibility of the, when the air is pushed into the bottle from the pump, the piece of wood will float with, as the level of water and the wood does not change, so therefore the piece of wood will float with the same part of the water, right? So there will be no change. Okay, the same part will float, as the level of water in the level of water and wood in the, it doesn't change, right? So therefore it will remain constant only. Okay, question number 35. The initial temperature and the volume of a gas is T and V. Okay, the formula is given, and if the gas extends to 27 V, from V to 27 times, PVQ equals to constant. So therefore here for you understand, first understand this PVQ here. I think from the equation you can say, okay, from the ideal gas equation says that PV equals to nRT, right? So for the ideal gas, right? So if you divide this equation, you will get this, right? In place of P, you put K by V to the power 1 by 3. You will put the value here, right? So you will get the T2, that the temperature, that the, sorry, here that this is a Charles law. I think it is not written, this is from Charles law, right? From the Charles law, that is equals to V proportional to T1, V proportional to capital T, that is a T measured in the absolute scale or the Kelvin scale, right? So that means V1 by V2 equals to T1 by T2. Just put the value here, you will get the answers. That is equals to, the final temperature is 9 times that of the initial temperature. Okay, 36. A block of mass 1 kg sliding down a rough inclined plane, constant velocity 10 meter per second. If only gravity is acting on it and the inclination is 45 degree, the work done by friction is in 3 seconds. Time is given, theta is given, and the initial velocity is the velocity is also given, and mass is also given. You have to calculate the work done. The formula of work done, right? The formula to already is, the simple formula is force into displacement. As the object is moving down a sliding plane, right? So it is, the plane is 45 degree with the horizontal, right? So therefore, so for the calculation of the work done, so you have to calculate here f s cos theta will be there, right? S cos theta will be there. The value of s will be, first of all you have to calculate the value of f, right? It is moving in a with a constant velocity, right? First of all, coefficient of friction is given by the formula mu equals to tan theta. Mu, calculate the mu, that is the coefficient of friction. Mu is calculated, right? So, and the reaction force on the block, here it is equals to mu given by the formula, that is, reaction force is like this, right? Here this is like this, this is the reaction force R, or sometimes it is said N, right? So reaction force will be equals to this, right? This is the work done. Okay, so that means work done will be equals to mu mg cos theta, right? So mu is 1, mass is already given 1, g is 9.8, sorry 9.8, yeah, or 10, and cos theta is equals to half. So put the value 1 by, value of cos 45 is 0.86, 0.707, or 1 by root 2, whatever you say. So the put the value, you will get the value of force. The value of force will be, if force will be this, and force into displacement will get the work done, value of work done. Here already it is said that the force is a reaction force. That means there will be a negative sign, right? Reaction force are always already has a negative sign. So therefore, in the place of work done, or in the place of this, you will put a negative sign. So therefore, the answer will be in negative only. Minus 150 root 2. That means the option number 2 is correct. A current 5 ampere is flowing through a solenoid of inductance 6 milliamp Henry. The energy stored. Okay, you have to calculate the energy. Given direct formula, E equals to half to Li square. Just put the value in the formula, you will get the answer. That is equals to option number 1. Okay, a power transformer without any electric energy loss used to, okay, no electric loss, that means input equals to output. If 100% efficiency, set up an alternating EMF of 220 volt to 11 kilovolt, that is 11,000 volt. Transmit 4.4 kilowatt, that means 4,400, and the primary coil it hertz 1000 turns. The N is given. Okay, so for this calculation, you have to put the value in this equation. Is, that is the is not the power. The formula for power is equals to I into V. So that means I will be equals to P by V. For the first primary coil, for the transformer, there are two coils, primary coil and a secondary coil, right? In the both the cases, right? In the primary coil, I think it transmit a power of 4.4 kilowatt, right? In the primary coil, you can calculate the value of current flow in the secondary coil by the formula I is equals to PS by Vs. P is given as 4.4 kilowatt, right? That means 4,400 divided by V. Here is given as 11 kilovolt. That means 11 to 10 1000. Here this one cancel out. That means I will be equals to round about 0.4, right? So that means option number 2 is correct. Okay, next another question from AC. Alternative RMS voltage is given. VRMS is given. VRMS equals to V naught by root 2, right? W is W naught. This is omega. This is the omega. Okay, omega is 10 radian per second is applied the LCR circuit. Okay, L is given, C is given, RL is already given. The power is given by the formula I RMS into V, half into IRMS into VRMS, right? Half of IRMS into VRMS into cos theta, right? So first of all, calculate the VRMS. V naught, omega is given, L is given, C is given, R is given. Z, you have to calculate the value of Z. Already told you in the formula that root over of R square plus XL minus XC whole square. There will be a whole square, right? Here will be a whole square, right? So it will be a whole square, right? So put the value in the this total formula, you will get the value Z equals to 5 impedance, and the value of power is equals to V RMS square divided by Z into cos phi. Put the value, you will get the value of P equals to 7500 watt. There is another formula, right? I have already told you, right? So that is P equals to IRMS into VRMS into cos phi. Cos phi is the power factor, right? You can put the value in that formula and could put the value in this formula, right? Whatever you say, because I is equals to V by Z, right? I equals to V by Z. They just substituted the value of I with V by Z, so they got this formula. Okay, fractional increase in resistivity per unit increased temperature is defined as, okay, fractional increase in resistivity per unit increase in the temperature. Okay, so this is a direct question. I say resistivity means rho. If there is an increase in the temperature, right? So it will, I think, only affect the temperature coefficient of the resistivity, that is alpha, right? So therefore option number 2 is correct. Right, here it is written RT equals to alpha R naught 1 plus alpha del T, right? It is the formula RT equals to R naught 1 plus alpha del T. A particle experiences a force of F equals to kr square. R is the unit vector along the position vector R and dimensional formula of K. Already told you in the section 1, there is a dimension for units and dimension case. The units of the dimension of force and dimension of this, the LHS and RHS will be equal. So therefore dimension of force is ml t minus 2 and the dimension of r square, I think it will be equals to L square, right? So therefore the dimension of k will be equals to ml t minus 2 divided by L square. That means it will be equals to ml1 ml minus 1 t minus 2, which is equals to the dimension of pressure or stress, right? Option number 4 is correct. And the vernier calipers, this is the 42 number question, number 42, right? It is the new addition to the NEET syllabus, or it was in the old syllabus but in the units and dimension chapter, but now it is given a new name, that is the experimental physics part, right? So vernier scale n division collides with the n minus 1 division of the main scale. Okay, n msd, sorry, n vsd equals to n minus 1 msd, right? The least count of the instrument, you have to calculate the LC. This is the experiment part, right? You already did in your school, right? This kind of experiment is already done in your school. One in least count is given by the formula 1 MSD minus 1 BSD, right? 1 MSD, 1 main scale division minus 1 vernier scale division. N vernier scale division equals to n minus 1 main scale division. That is 1 vernier scale division equals to n minus 1 by n main scale division. So in place of one main scale division, just put the value, or in the place of vernier scale division, put the value n minus 1 divided by n main scale division. You will get the value 1 by 10, 1 by 10 in centimeter, right? Okay. The law of 43, called the law of conservation of momentum for a system, is based on Newton's which law? Third law, right? So in the firing of gun, okay, in the rocket, all in the conservation of momentum depends on the third law. Okay, question number 44, the torque, that is the force in the rotation in the whenever the object is revolving in a certain circular path, right? For the torque T or tau, whatever you say, acts on a body of moment of inertia I, angular speed of omega. It will be stopped just after time. Okay, that means the velocity will be 0, omega will be 0 equals to, right? So okay, tau, the formula of tau is equals to I into alpha. Let's remember it like this way. For our whenever the object is moving in a straight line, the formula is F equals to ma. In place of F, put torque. In place of A, put I. In place of A, put alpha. M, in place of M, put I. In place of A, put alpha. Thus you will get the formula tau equals to I into alpha, right? So there is no confusion, I think. Now you have to calculate when it will stop. That means omega. That means the omega will be equals to 0, right? So alpha equals to omega by t. Hence t, the small t will be equals to I omega by t. Okay, so that means option number 2 is correct. Question number 45, Cp and Cv, the specific heats in constant pressure and constant volume. Molecular mass is m naught. Then the correct relation, the formula is Cp minus Cv equals to R by m naught. Why? Because R is the Cp and Cv are the this is Cp and Cv are the specific heats per mole, okay, per molecular mass, right? So therefore this option will be, I think, correct, R by m naught. Question number 46, the time period of an earth satellite or circular orbit is independent of, the time period formula is given. Time period is had a relation with t square. I already told you t square is proportional to r cube, right? So therefore it is related to radius, but it is not related to mass. Okay, the time period of the question, in the question, it is independent of, therefore it will be independent of mass. Okay, that means option 1 is correct. It is independent of, sorry, I think there is a misconception here. It is dependent on, sorry, here the earth satellite is given. Sorry, the formula is equals to root over 2gr, small g capital R. That means if you just I think if you just put if you just modify the equation, you will get that the values, the time period t equals to root over t square equals to root over gm, capital Gm by R. That means it depends on the mass of the satellite, right? So earth satellite, right? So therefore I think the option 2 is incorrect, because it doesn't depend on the radius of the orbit. It depends on the radius of earth, not in the radius of the orbit, right? So therefore option number 2 is incorrect. An adiabatic compression, this is a simple question, right? This is a simple question. As you all know that Q equals to the amount of heat is given in the system is equals to the del U plus del W. That is the internal energy, that is the work done. But if del U equals to, for adiabatic compression, this is equals to this, so therefore del U will be equals to positive, which is greater than 0. That is option number 2 is correct. For the kinetic energy versus the position graph for the harmonic oscillators, okay, is this, okay, position for the 3 harmonic oscillators that have the same mass is same, 2 pi root over L by G. The given formula, capital T, formula of time period is 2 pi root over L by G. They have the same mass, okay. So from the formula you can say that 2 T is equals to T depends on the length and the gravitation. As these three are in the same area, that means G will be equal, right? So the value of T will only depend on the length of the harmonic oscillators, right? So as I think, right, I think as this the kinetic energy, okay, the different as the time in which of the following relations are correct. The kinetic energy is given by the formula half k x square, okay, and the kinetic energy of the spring is given, kinetic energy is inversely proportional to the square of the time period, right? So therefore I think as the kinetic time period increases, so therefore in the case of A, time period is maximum, here is minimum. So therefore as the kinetic energy increases, kinetic energy here is for the A is maximum, so therefore time period of the A will be lesser because they are in a inversely proportional relationship. Okay, statement 49, a beam of white light gives a spectrum through a hollow prism, gives a spectrum to, okay. Statement B, the speed of light outside the hollow prism is different from the speed of the light inside the hollow prism. This is a correct, right? This is a correct, but this is statement, okay, okay, speed of light outside the hollow prism is different from the speed of light inside the hollow prism. A beam of white light does not give a spectrum, right? When passing through a hollow spectrum, okay, prism, it is a hollow prism. Sorry, I misunderstood. So if the prism is not a hollow prism, it will give us a spectrum due to the dispersion, 7 colors, Bibgier, right? Because it is a hollow prism, it will not give us a spectrum. Okay, speed of the light outside the, when the white light, now see, in the hollow prism, right, the outside the medium is air and the inside the medium is also, because this is a hollow, right? So that there is no change in the medium, so therefore no change in the velocity of the light, so therefore option number 4 is correct because these two are incorrect. Okay, last question. The electric bulb rated to 100 watt to 100 volt, if the electric bulb is connected to a 100 volt, okay, supply, then the current draw, then the current drawn in the bulb, this is a simple formula, the value of P equals to V square by R, right? The power formula is given by P square by R. There are three formulas: P equals to IV, P equals to I square, and P equals to V square by R, right? Here voltage and resistance is, I'm sorry, voltage and resistance is given, so therefore I think you adapt this formula, P equals to V square by R, right? So if you apply the formula P equals to V square by R, you will get that R equals to V square by P, and V is equals to 100 square by 100 will be equals to our 0.25 ampere, right? V is equals to 200, sorry, V is equals to 200, that means 200 square means 40,000, okay, and the P is given is 100, so therefore R is equals to 400, right? So therefore the current will be equals to, from the Ohm's law, equals to V by R. V is equal, here is 100, so that means I will be equals to 100 by resistance, that is 400. Okay, so that means answer will be equals to 0.25. I think because this was the last question, right? So I think you understood. If you have any problem regarding any solution, right, so just pin in the just ask in the comments, right? We will get back to you in no time, I think. Okay, so best of luck for your next test and for these tests. Okay, so good luck.